Hey viewers, welcome to my orchid world. Since spring has already arrived, this is the time for another growth period for all the orchids. I will be specifically focusing on Dendrobium orchids since these are one of the most popular orchids, very easy to grow, and if you keep in mind 3 or 4 things, then it is very easy for you to grow Dendrobium orchids. So I'll be focusing on the hybrid Dendrobium orchids first, and then I'll shift to the species ones. I have quite a number of species Dendrobium orchids. I'll show you one by one, and we'll discuss about what are the growth patterns, when do they put out spikes, when do they put out new kikis, when they grow, are there any special care to be taken during the winter period, because some species orchids do undergo winter rest. So I'll be speaking about all of these things. So you can see that these are the hybrid Dendrobium orchids. They are hard cane orchids because the canes are quite hardy. They are not very soft, not very flimsy. These are the hybrid Dendrobium orchids. They all have put out kikis. Some of them have put out multiple kikis, 2 or 3. Most of them have put out at least one kiki. So what I always say is that Dendrobium orchids are very easy to take care. You just cannot kill Dendrobium orchids so easily. So this, you can see this one, you must have seen it in one of my repotting videos. I had repotted and accidentally I had chopped off the crown of the kiki while repotting this orchid. There are 2 orchids in this pot, very tiny, so I had potted them together. This one is very healthy looking kiki. You can see lush green leaves, new roots have been growing all the time. You can see the tips are so nice green. And the other Dendrobium orchid, which I had accidentally chopped off the crown, it is also putting out one small, very tiny kiki. It is very small right now. I'll try to show you how it is growing. So you can see other Dendrobium orchids are growing new kikis. This is the time when you have to put a little bit of more care to the Dendrobium orchids. This is the time you should water them properly, because it is already very hot nowadays and you need to water them daily. Dendrobium orchids like to be potted in small pots, so do not use any very large pots so that the roots struggle to travel towards the wall of the pot and to get attached to them. So these are the orchids that I had mounted. You have seen it. This is a dried branch, big branch, which I had planted inside my shade house. I had mounted few of my already potted orchids in this branch, and they have also put out kikis. You can see this one has 2 kikis, and the roots, once the roots grow quite long, they will get attached to the branch and they will hold themselves. Next year they will put out more kikis. All the Dendrobium orchids are putting out kikis at this time. So basic care is that you need to water them daily. Look at the weather. It is very hot. Water them twice in the evening also, and they will grow nicely. They will not suffer, because if the heat is affecting you, it will affect them as well. Now shifting to species Dendrobium orchids. I have quite a lot of species orchids. This is a kiki that I had. This is a small tiny baby plant that I had bought. This is growing multiple number of kikis. As you can see, very tiny. They will grow once, and by the end of this year, towards the winter, they will be matured. They will undergo winter rest throughout, say, December to January. And when winter recedes, when temperature starts to rise up again, increase again, then they will bloom the next year. So what extra care that you need to take for orchids that undergo winter rest? During winter rest, do not water them. As I always say, species orchids undergo winter rest. Hybrid Dendrobium orchids do not undergo winter rest. Also, there are few species orchids which do not undergo proper winter rest, but they somewhat slow down their growth in terms of growth of leaves, growth of roots, and other parts of the plant. So this is another species orchid. You can see the number of kikis is more in case of species orchids if you compare the hybrid ones and the species ones. Species orchids give out more kikis. If you speak about Dendrobium orchids, they give out multiple number of kikis. Because another point of significance is that if the orchid is mounted on a slab or say any branch or any wood piece, they will get more support to the entire plant and they will produce more kikis. Because if the number of kikis is more, the weight of the orchid will increase and it needs something to hold on to rather than potting. In pot, the roots will grow downwards, where they do not get that much of support as compared to mounted orchids. So I always go for mounting orchids. Gradually I have plans to mount all my orchids except a few on branches, deep branches, because I have the privilege of big trees in my yard. So I can occasionally trim those trees and get the branches, big branches, which I plan to use as mounting material for my orchids. Few of them will be potted, no doubt, but most of the soft cane orchids, as you can see, these are the species orchids. These are soft cane orchids, not that hard. These orchids will eventually go to branches, will be mounted, and they will produce more kikis and eventually more number of blooms. These orchids bloom in multiple quantities and they look very nice, very beautiful in bunches, and the fragrance is just out of this world. I just like the species orchids more because they have fragrances. These orchids, together with putting out kikis, also produce buds at the nodes, and they will parallelly they will bloom and also the kikis will grow. This will take quite some time to bloom properly. I will bring out a video on it when they bloom, all of them. Many of them are in buds, many of them are in spikes, and they will take quite some time, maybe 1 month or 1.5 months. So I will bring a detailed video when they bloom. It will be basically a bloom kind of video where you can see the blooms. Another major step that you need to take is to fertilize your hybrid orchids, hybrid Dendrobium orchids, also other orchids, but since here I am speaking about hybrid Dendrobium orchids and species Dendrobium orchids, those of you who fertilize your hybrid Dendrobium orchids, you can start fertilizing them. There is a detailed video on fertilizing orchids in my channel. Please go and look out for that. You will get many important and useful information regarding fertilization and what kind of fertilizer to use, how to use, what concentration you need to take. So please check out that video. Also, I'll put a link in the description on that video, so you can easily find that video. So speaking about fertilization, you can start fertilizing them because there are new root tips that can take up the fertilizer, and so it is time for the fertilizer to be applied. This is the growth period for all the orchids, also Dendrobium orchids, and hence major basic steps that you need to take care for orchids is this is the time you can take those steps. Water them, fertilize them, and when they mature, they will take about 10 to 11 months. By November they will mature and then they will start blooming. So hope this video was useful for you regarding Dendrobium orchids and both hybrid and species Dendrobium orchids. If it was useful, please give it a like and do subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.